folks. Welcome to the Snowy's Camping Show with Ben and Lauren. How are you today, Ben?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Now, we've done, I think we've done one of these episodes before, and there's sort of a good episode to do every, 3 to 6 months whenever we've got some new gear in
Which
stock.
We've got a bit of at the moment.
Yeah,
Some
we
new
do
brands,
have
exciting brands.
We do have a fair bit of new gear in. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast, whether that be either on YouTube or your favourite podcast app, and head over to our Facebook group, Snowy's Camping Show. It's called Snowy's Camping Banter now, and join in on the conversation. So I'll kick off with the first brand. This is it's been a very highly requested brand for a while. And I think you either have it or you love it, or you've never heard of it before. And that's Naturehike.
All of these brands too, we should say, usually brought into the business through customer feedback.
That is
we
true,
have someone who pretty much listens to everyone who says you should get this gear, and it goes on a list. And if it gets asked enough, we think, well, maybe this is worth looking into. And Dave sits there and makes some phone calls and works it all out.
Our old mate Dave.
Then we get an email that says we're getting this brand.
Yeah.
And we give it a go.
We do.
But the latest ones are pretty exciting. But Naturehike being the first one, which I've heard of before. I don't have any of the gear. It looks to me, and based on the feedback we've got, really good value.
Yeah, it does look like really good value. And I think the most feedback that I've had about it is through our Facebook group, or people who listen to the show and have talked about the gear that they've had and that they really love. And I think from my understanding, it's been around since around about 2010 or something like that. But it was like one of those really obscure Amazon brands. Like it didn't have a storefront or a website or anything like that, but you could get it on Amazon. And over time, it's become a bit more popular, and now it sort of has its own dedicated website, and it seems to be an acknowledged brand in and of itself.
Yeah.
But it seems it's largely, as I guess the name suggests, hiking gear, or centered around really lightweight, compact car camping gear or hiking gear.
Yep.
And it's a really great sort of, I guess I would call it an entry level product, purely because of its price range. And I mean, obviously I've not had any, because it's new to us and I've not had any Naturehike gear. I would say it's entry level because it's super accessible. Like the price point is super accessible.
Yeah, I would say entry level price point, but it's got a technical design.
Yeah.
So there's always a corner sort of cut, I suppose, when you go to an entry level something, but these present really well and get really good feedback for the price. So I'm not sure how they come through to get the products at the prices that they do.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at kitting yourself out with hiking gear, and you might be semi-committed to the idea of that actually being something you're going to continue on with in your life, this allows you to get gear that's going to do the job.
Yeah.
To get your foot in the door, work out if you enjoy it, and you're going to get more than your dollar's worth before these things start to show their age.
Yeah.
At which point you know which way you're going, and you might be willing to think, I'm going to invest big time in really high quality gear after this.
Yep.
So check it out. They have got, when we say quality, they've got titanium mugs and cups and bowls. So it is made lightweight.
Yeah.
And in its own, titanium's not cheap. So it's not a cheap mug, but it's a cheap titanium, and it shouldn't say cheap. It's an affordable titanium mug. It's still made really well.
Yeah.
The tents are made with a technical design, and they're going to perform really well in all weather. But they're not priced as high as some of the high-end brands. And the backpacks are really
they look
really
good,
schmick.
don't they? Because when I first saw them, I was like, oh, wow, what are these? And then I was like, oh, Naturehike, wasn't expecting that.
Yep.
And I think, it looks the goods, I guess. And sometimes that's, for the right price, that's really all you need, as long as it sees you through what you need it to.
Yep.
Next one.
Joolca. For those who don't know Joolca, we've had Joolca in the past, and there was a period where we didn't have it, and it's recently come back on board. Dave, who was talking about before, got in touch or got in conversation with them again, and Joolca is now part of our range. Joolca being a portable hot water system. Other brands that you might be familiar with that are in our range are SmartTech, and Companion also do one, and Gasmate had one for a while. Joolca though, that's like SmartTech, they just do showers. Joolca just do showers, but they've done really well to flesh it out into not just a hot water system, but a whole
ecosystem
like an
of
ecosystem, I suppose.
showering-ish products.
So they've got shelters and mountable awning tents to mount to your roof rack. But then the hot water systems themselves, they've gone to the extra length of not just putting a shower rose on there, but an engineered,
one of those little trigger spray things.
Like engineered solutions, engineered taps, and then boxes that are storage boxes that then turn into your wash pan your wash tub with
like your sink with wings,
draining things on the side. So I was a big fan of Joolca when we first had them many years ago. They were really good to work with. They stood behind their products, really well thought out, did what they said they were going to do. And that doesn't look like it's changed. I haven't dug in to do the new videos on the latest version because it has been updated. Still the hot tap.
I'm pretty sure you're going to be doing them as well because you've done like the smart tech and the other things, so it'll be good for you to
it'll be interesting
comparison.
We did a thorough review of the original Joolca hot taps, but these are still called the hot taps. It's just the V2, I think.
Yeah, I reckon.
But even the pump, it's not just a pump that you can kind of see the 12-volt pump. It's encased in a nice sturdy container with a switch on the outside, and
it's like really considered, thought about.
Yeah, it doesn't just work; it's finished off really nicely as well. So
it's definitely one. Like a brand that has been consistently asked for over the years. People call up or email or shoot us a chat and be like, hey, do you guys have Joolca? It's like, we don't at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting to have them back.
Exciting to have it back. Yeah. Absolutely. Now,
hang on, before we move on.
Yeah.
The thing that I've seen in Joolca that got me really excited and I was like, I would buy this even if I don't buy the Joolca system or anything itself is the shower floor.
I've seen a picture.
It just looks so cool, right? It's this it's basically this large square, like say meter square, right? Raised wooden slatted showering platform that catches the water underneath that you can then either drain out or replumb or whatever. I don't really know. I guess it would depend, how soapy you are and whatever.
Yep.
But it collapses, like it's all packs up and folds up. So it's the size of one of those, like a Zempire slap pack camp table or a stretcher bed or something. And it's just really cool because I think a lot of people, I use those open foam cell square things and I just think, they're great and they're easy and they're simple and they're cheap, but they can be a bit messy.
Yeah.
And this is super bougie. And if you're someone who finds it, or if you've got someone I can't remember her name. There was a listener once who put in when we did a Q&A session and she's like, how do I get my husband to enjoy camping? And I was like, get a new husband, which obviously was a joke. But if you have someone in your life who doesn't like camping, a really good shower setup in my experience is usually one of the key things that stops them from enjoying camping.
Yeah.
So this is like, add this to your kit.
So I wonder if she's updated her shower or gotten a new husband. We'll have to get an update on that one and see where it's at. I did see that base though, and we should mention there's heaps of accessories for the Joolca system. I saw that base. I haven't had a good look, but keep an eye out we're planning over the coming weeks to review all of those products. Next one's really exciting.
It is really exciting. And I'm also going to let you take the lead on this one because you've recently done a whole bunch of filming on these bad boys.
We have,
and that's inspired Overland rooftop tents. These are really interesting and really cool because they are super lightweight.
Yep.
And I actually picked one up by myself.
Yep.
In the carton in the warehouse.
Yep.
Straight up by myself.
We took
the whole rooftop tent, by the way.
We took a photo of me the other day holding it above my head. I did have to get people each side to balance it because the whole dynamics of it all was fine, but I could hold it above my head because we're talking sub 40 kilo rooftop tent. So the standard version, there's two styles. It's got one with a soft toner cover, one that's a carbon fiber version. The smallest soft toner is 35 kilos. The carbon fiber is 36. Don't quote me on this, but check our website, and about 38 for the carbon fiber one. Now they've got a soft tonneau cover, which is kind of cool. Think Joolca Ute, where you've got any ute, you've got the PVC sort of tonneau cover. It's like that on top, so you can't.
So it's not like a hard shell.
Yeah. I guess you call it a soft shell, I suppose, but it's not like a fold in half soft shell. It's still got that sandwich what do you call it? Like the full length opening sort of
it's like
wedge.
like an alligator mouth.
Yeah, like a wedge, yeah.
A triangle,
And that comes in 2 sizes. I think the XL is probably going to be the bigger seller because it's a bit wider and a bit longer, and I fit pretty well inside the XL. The carbon fibre, though, has got carbon fibre slats.
And when you say you fit, like you're 6'2" or something. Like,
6'1", 185 centimetres, yeah. There's a video where you can show my feet are just touching the top, but it's funny, we lie down in a rooftop tent and we put our feet straight out and stick up and go, I've got no foot space. But in reality, when we sleep, we bend our feet a bit. So,
and line your tummy and knees up and all sorts of,
So I'm kind of saying this to shut down the people who go, that's not long enough, but just have a think about how you sleep for the most part, because if you get length to suit you when you're sleeping on your back with your legs straight and your feet straight up in the air, then you're probably cutting a whole lot of extra weight around that you don't need.
Yeah.
But these tents are made lightweight. So when we're talking, to give you an idea, I had a flatbed roof rack on my patrol, and this is the lengths I went to shoot these videos. I took that roof rack off, put other roof racks on to be able to mount these on my car to do the video, because we did a setup video as well.
So why couldn't you, sorry, I'm just stopping you here. Why couldn't you mount it on your flatbed?
My flatbed is recessed by about 3 centimetres down. And so I couldn't, it's flat, but it's still down a bit, and the length of the rooftop tent was slightly long, so it sat up on the edge a bit. So I just had to put roof bars on.
Yeah.
But if I left
But yours is really old, right? Your roof platform?
Yeah, it's like 30 or 35 kilos alone. So it's as heavy as a rooftop tent. So if I put that and the rooftop tent on, it'd be 60, 70 kilos. Whereas I just put factory Nissan roof bars that go on top that still have a 100 kilo weight rating. They probably weigh 5 or 6 kilos. And then I put a 35 kilo rooftop, or 36, or 38 is the one I got on there. Well, I put 2 on there anyway, under 40 kilos. So I'm still talking about only marginally more than the roof rack. Yeah. But I've got a rooftop tent up there now. And when you're talking about SUVs, I'll take a step back. I did a tour around Tassie recently and had a hybrid RAV4. It made me realize how much money I am throwing out on fuel in my Nissan by patrol, and I think there's got to be a better way for this. I can't wait for hybrid four-wheel drives to come out. Yeah. But if you're not on heavy four-wheel drive tracks, then an SUV, I had someone in the car park the other day come and he was interested looking at us film these tents, and he said he's put BFGs on his Subaru Outback. You can upgrade the suspension. That's going to get you to 80, 90% of where you need to go in Australia. Like dirt roads and everything. I don't know what the roof loading is on most SUVs, but I would say 40 kilos is well within what would be allowable on most of those cars. So now you're talking a rooftop tent that is suitable for an SUV, and 12 to 15 centimetres in height when it's packed. So I'm roving on a bit here. I've gone on, but I'm quite excited about it because I've always been rooftop tents, like 230 do have some great lightweight ones, I should mention.
Yeah, the too. Dakota Light is amazing. That's like 40 kilos or 45 kilos.
Sabre Light's about 60. So that made me go and go, okay, this is now realistic. But then there's others that are 80, 100, 110 kilos for a rooftop tent. And to me, who's always doing lightweight, that's just silly for 2 people.
And not to mention, like for that 230 Dakota Light that we saw at the Full Drive show that I loved, I thought that was really nifty. But one of the things that I thought about that is you hear all the time about people trying to rig up systems in their carport or their garage to try and like pulley systems to try and like lift up a rooftop tent and keep it there because they might only go away every couple of months and it just burns through so much fuel having it on their daily driver. Like we're talking about a rooftop tent that I could lift. Yeah. I could literally pick up and put on my rooftop tent and take it off myself whenever I want it. Like that's game changing really.
Absolutely. I had someone help me put it on the car just so I didn't slip and smash a window, but we lifted it off the ground and put it on the car without even really thinking, I'll get out of here. But anyway, the exciting thing is to have these 40 kilo rooftop tents we've now got, and I mentioned that the heavier ones, which I don't want to discount those because there are some cars out there who are, they've upgraded their GVM and they can carry that weight and they do offer Gucci kind of comfort. And
realistically, you might be handing them down to your grandkids in 50 years' time.
Yeah, so some of those are going to last a bit longer too because they're made with heavy duty materials, but they weigh a heck of a lot and they offer outstanding comfort inside. If you talk about the high rise ones, they've kind of got 3 layers to it, heaps of room inside, really comfortable but really heavy. So now we've got rooftop tents that suit people who've got, big troopies with massive, capabilities, load carrying capabilities, down to people who have got a RAV4 or something small and want a rooftop tent to go on that and just tour Australia.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll stop there.
It's cool.
Very excited about that one.
So the next one is Tiegear. Now we have had Tiegear for a while with their the sort of namesake guy rope, I guess.
Yep.
Pioneering guy rope. But now they've got like a shorter and smaller guy rope, and I can't think what it's called.
STEADFAST.
STEADFAST, thank you. Which is really nifty because not everybody needs the huge, big, sort of massive ones. And they've got a range of really good looking, really good quality pegs. And I'm pretty sure 2 of them screw in. There's like a sand screw in and a steel screw in for normal ground. And I think there's one that's a pin.
Yeah.
And it comes with a hex bit, or you can also get a hex bit and I don't know what the opposite of a hex bit is. It's like the inside out hex bit, like there's socket and then there's a Torx. Oh, that's it, Torx. So like there's a hex Torx thing and then a socket. Yeah. Yay. Anyway, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I just don't know what they're called.
The regular guy rope, the Tiegear guy rope is really popular. The STEADFAST guy rope is a lightweight version of that. So if you don't want to carry really heavy guy rope, really good for swags. Probably could be used for a hiking tent, maybe a little bit heavy, but probably good for compact.
I don't know if I'd be taking them hiking, to be honest.
They're probably a bit heavy for that, but good
they're
for
good
compact.
For say like, like a 4P or a 6P like an instant up tent or a dome tent or something. Yep. Whereas the larger ones are more for like your RVs and your awnings and things like that, a bit more heavy duty. So
swags,
that's a really good option.
It's really good for swags. And I've done a video review on the guy rope and also the STEADFAST Terra Light, which is a thin, it's basically like,
is that a pin? Like a tent peg pin?
It's like a pin, but it's actually a landscaping screw that's got.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, I'm going by what a comment has been made on it that they're landscaping screws, but then they've got this.
Do they have thread on them?
Yeah, it's threaded. Yep.
Oh.
So you screw them in, and that's got a Torx bit on the top.
What about the other one?
The other one is
a pin?
I haven't had a good look. No, I'm going to show you my phone here. So they're all screw.
Right, yeah.
Screw.
I see what you're saying.
So there's a plastic STEADFAST, which is sand. Mm-hmm. Then there's like a galvanized one, which is kind of a tapered screw for hard ground.
And that's got that huge, big, hardcore thread the whole way up.
Yep, with 2 big loops on the top. And then the lightweight one, which has just got 1 loop. So the big thing, I mean, you can buy these sort of screws from hardware shops, but you're getting these.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's like the it's like a smooth shaft 2/3 of the way, and then the bottom third is just like this really fine thread.
Yep. So I put it in pretty soft ground, like in the garden outside the Keswick store down in here in Adelaide. So soft compost type ground. So I could pull it out quite easily, but I guess I was rash and I could rip it right out, but put a fair bit of pressure and it moved in the ground, but still held in the ground.
That's that's cool.
It kind of has this angle thing going on that still grips in the ground. So more than enough for what you'd expect for a lightweight tent, I suppose. But when you get to awnings and stuff, you do need something heavier to go in the ground. But the real benefit is with these screw things, if it's hard ground, rather than smashing a peg into the ground and bending it, these screw in a lot easier. You do need to take – people will go, you'll take a drill with you. Yeah, you do. I have to take a drill with you, but you ask people who've used these and take a drill with them, they don't look don't look sideways.
Well, I guess you could always just take a little, socket wrench thing.
You could be a while doing that. Yeah, I think the benefit of the drill is you can push down on top.
You want to like work your forearms out or whatever, get super muscly.
Anyway, they're pretty cool, just nice polished solutions. And the benefit of the guy rope is that it all tucks up in a little bag. So when you unpack, if you've got 4 guy ropes on a tent, you go to set it up, you unroll it, guarantee if you haven't rolled those guy ropes up, they're tangled up, and then you spend the next 5 minutes untangling 4 guy ropes before you can pitch your tent. Yeah. This means that they're just in a nice little secure, neat package on each anchor point on the tent. Yeah. They extend out really easily, tighten up really easily, and pack away really easily. That's a super good point because I've also been doing some moonlighting in the dispatch for snowies, and sometimes people will order, say, like 12 of the Tiegear guy ropes, and they just sort of come in the trolley from our pickers, and then you've got to get them all out and chuck them in a box and whatever, and they're never tangled. They're just like just all chucked in there with other gear. It's just like, they all come out, no stress, no drama, easy as. Really good. You can't hide the fact that they're a lot more expensive than buying just a guy rope with a tensioner on it. But they're really easy to use, and you'll probably appreciate having invested in it. It's probably one of those things that we've said before that maybe you wouldn't buy yourself a heap. But if someone said, what do you want for your birthday? You go, you know what, just buy me 6 of these guy ropes, because I can't justify paying it for myself, but it'd be a really good gift.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, but I also think that the guy ropes are the Tiegear ropes are one of those things that I think are worth the investment, just because of how much easier they will just make your whole camping life realistically, and they'll last forever. And, you know, I think some things you're like, I'll save on this because it doesn't matter. I think with the Tiegear ropes, I personally would invest in Tiegear ropes, but I might use, super peg key head pegs instead of the screw in pegs. Do you know what I mean? Like there's different areas that I would trim the fat, but I think the Tiegear ones are worth it.
Check them out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Last one we've got for the New Year episode, unless there's a second side to this sheet of paper, not. Which there isn't, is...
It's going to be a nice soundbite episode today.
Yeah, we might even get below half an hour. So we're looking up because we've got a timer in front of us. We do have a timer.
And you guys are probably used to us talking for almost up to an hour sometimes. So
well, what episode are we up to refreshing. Now? 100
nearly 30, I reckon.
So it's taken almost 150 episodes
for us.
And they're still trying to make us be shorter on these
Anyway,
episodes.
let's go.
Anyway, in the interest of being shorter, let's stop rambling.
Yeah.
Cedar Summit, new sleeping bags. Look, this is we could talk for ages. The Cedar Summit sleeping bag range was already awesome, and they admit themselves
that it was awesome.
We didn't really, there was nothing wrong with the range. We just kind of wanted to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy the classic range, which has been available up until a month ago, probably not even.
Yeah.
And now they've got a latest range, which has kind of gone through a few changes, largely still the same functional bag with some changes in naming conventions, changes in how the
upgrading
temperatures.
The zippers and the materials and just sort of these little fine tweaks to be like, how do we take this super awesome product and the feedback that we've got and make it just that little bit more awesome.
Tightened up the range too, because there was heaps in the range and they've just gone, there's too much overlap here. That doesn't make sense. And to try and navigate the range is really good now. And then they've gone one level further and gone, let's just make like a really like all out awesome bag that's lightweight and has all the features and has awesome down, which is the Spark Pro, which incorporates their
free flow
zip system. In a mummy shaped bag that's got a zip right around the end so you can zip it open.
Yeah.
Like 950 loft down, crazy lofting down. Lightweight fabrics, room inside. So Cedar Summit never went out to say we're going to create the lightest bag. They've gone out to say we'll create the lightest functional bag. So there might be lighter bags out there, but they may not have the same space inside. So you crawl inside and you can actually fit inside a Cedar Summit bag. We could probably go on for ages.
That's what I find. I find they're like relaxed mummy and they're mummies. I mean, obviously I am a very classically shaped woman and I fit in their sleeping bags very comfortably. Whereas a lot of other brands, I'm just like, please.
Yeah.
So, and I think Cedar Summit, I don't know about you, but having sort of been around this industry for a long time, I remember when Cedar Summit first brought out their like amazing sleeping bag range where they had the micro. Do you remember the micro and stuff like that? And then every couple of years they've brought out sort of like this really cool evolution, but it's been a while. Yeah. And I think COVID maybe put a bit of a hiccup in that for a lot of brands that usually have like this cyclical update of their range and stuff. So when we first got word about this, the sleep system changing and all their down sleeping bags, I was so excited. Yeah. And now they're finally here. It's just super exciting.
There's one bag that's continued. I'm pretty sure it's the only bag that's continued through the entire range since Cedar Summit made sleeping bags, and that's the Trek. And if you're looking for a sleeping bag that's got the best technical features, made to a high standard of quality, but doesn't cost the absolute earth, it's a down bag, so it's not cheap, but it's still at the affordable end of down bags. You cannot go past the Trek.
It's great for car camping, but you can get away with multi-day hiking.
It's an all-rounder.
It's a good all-rounder and it's down.
Yep.
And like you say, that's been around for ages.
Yep. So if you're not looking for the absolute lightest or something that's going to perform in the absolute coldest of temperatures, but an all-rounder, just check it out. It's been, I don't know when trying to think when it would have first come out. Like it'd be over 10 years in evolution. I vaguely remember when Cedar Summit first brought sleeping bags out. The Trek was part of the range then, and it was tapered down to a narrow section at the foot, whereas it's now a 3-dimensional foot. There's vertical torso baffles. It's still got a 650 loft down in it, which is what brings that price down to the affordable level. Like it's just an awesome all-round bag. If you've got a
which
Scout,
they do in a women's fit now as well. They
Trek
had a
men's and
journey
women's.
before, but it's now the Trek unisex and the women's.
If you've got a budding adventurer in Scouts, is looking like
Excellent.
they're going to do outdoor adventures for many years to come, get a Trek now, because with proper care, it's going to last them many, many, many years, probably well until they're an adult.
10 plus years if you look after a down bag.
Easy. And at which point they probably think if they're doing really hot, lightweight adventures, they're still going to use the Trek bag for car camping, and they'll get a lightweight bag for hiking. Right? It's
Now, also probably worth mentioning, they've also redone their liners. Like they've got a range of really cool revamped liners.
And I haven't had a good look at them yet, but it looks like they've incorporated their free flow system in that too. And by free flow, what I mean is you can basically wear your sleeping bag like a massive jumper. You can put your feet out the bottom, put your arms out the side, walk across camp, go sit in front of the campsite, zip yourself up again, and then walk back to your tent.
I mean, not that I would do that because I just feel like my sleeping bag would be way too precious. Yeah.
But you can basically not get out of your sleeping bag in the morning and cook your breakfast and get around. And,
But I think we might also do an episode with Cedar Summit just on the new range and things like that at some stage in the next few months as well.
Yeah, potentially. It's a good point. Let us know if you've got any questions, because there's lots of technical stuff around the test that, they've moved to ISO testing. We've spoken to Cedar Summit before about the EN testing. It's now ISO testing, and there's a lot of thought that goes into the design of those bags. So any questions, let us know.
That's it. I reckon we've kept it under 30, which is good news. Sorry for those of you who like listening to us for longer, because you must be really sad now.
We should have put it at the start of the episode and said, feel free to pause and go and look at the products and then come back and continue on. If you haven't already done that, you've got 20 minutes to half an hour of a regular episode left to go and just browse the products.
Correct. And if you don't see any product reviews on any of this gear yet, don't worry, because either Ben or I will be on the screens soon covering pretty much everything we've talked about.
Yep.
So, again, leave us any questions or comments that you have, because if we haven't filmed the review already, it might be something we can address whilst we're doing that review. Or if you do have any experience with any of this gear, also let us know, because it'll be good to hear your thoughts. Anyway, I hope you guys have a really great fortnight, and we will see you again in a couple of Mondays.
See you later.
Catch you later.